I'm not going to describe the person, but I must ask you, I was wondering why he invited me to launch this book. But I do not know him that well. I suppose he knows me better than I know him. But one thing, what attracts me most is his title. That's the one I think I accepted. And that is Rich Malaysian. No, Rich Malaysia, Poor Malaysian. But I think what we have been trying to do since we became independent since 1957, over the 60 years, and this is the time when Malaysia's 60 years of independence is the precise moment that we are to return to the drawing board. This is the best time for us to review what we have achieved, what we haven't achieved, where we succeeded very well, where we didn't succeed, and where, if you like, some of the policies failed. As a public servant for years, I think the policies, taking into account what has been described by Anas, the multiracial society, multi-states, all multi, and all the number of foreigners that we have in this country, I think I must say, I myself personally feel, we are definitely richer than we were before independence. Of course, some people will not accept it, but I think as a whole, those days, there were only 6 or 7 million Malaysian, but today we have almost 32 million. So that's a very big population. So you cannot say, the most important thing when we look at it is, my own concern is this: the social and economic re-engineering, utilizing our best mind to charter our national recalibration for a way forward, built upon empirical evidence and assessment of both our successful and failed policies needed. I mean, when we look back at ourselves, first I look at myself. What I was 70 or almost 80 years ago. 80 years ago, I just joined Government English Preparatory School from the 3-year school in Malaysia, in Moore. But today, not only we have a government prep school, no university, but today we have, government alone has 20 universities, and not to speak of private universities. So in spite of all, whatever, if you like to call it, our failures, some like to call it scandals, and so many things. Sometimes they speak about bank BMF, sometimes they talk about the tin, and then recently they talk about the foreign exchange, and even the issues of 1MDB still linger in some people's mind. But in spite of all this, we must take off to our head to whom we must credit, because runaway, those who ran the country over the years, I think we must be grateful to them. They have done it well, whether it's in terms of security, whether today we have 5 million foreign workers, which has always been my worrying part all in my life. How to get rid of the 5 million foreign workers in the country. These are issues which are not very easy to solve. But we were surprised when we had national service. People teach national service, even supposed to be 6 months. And that is, you learn more about military, about discipline. But I would have thought, if I have to take a new system, why not we have agriculture national service? In other words, our young chap who was supposed to do national service, they learn to tap rubber, they learn to work in the oil palm industry, they learn how to grow rice and other things, or they work into the forestry, and above all, to help the country to go green, to preserve whatever we have. Now this is, I like the title, because I want to make sure in the next 20 or 30 years, we have a certain policy and guidance which, in different words, rich Malaysian, rich Malaysia. And that means we might go for the high income, higher productivity and so on. And I myself, an experience working in the palm oil, the issue is this. When we talk about the profit in the palm oil industry, I inform the staff, the workers, actually the profit is quite a lot. And there is the question of, but where do you get the profit? But we give the target to the workers, to the staff, to the estate. You produce so many tons per acre. Now what happened, for no reason you don't reach that standard, and they still claim they want bonus because of the price, but the price is not given by them. But to me, the most important thing we look at it is productivity. Actually. Now, when we look at some of our policies didn't work well, I don't blame very much of them. We always fail in the implementation of our policy. I mean, we tried with the new economic policy. Why did we fail? And we should ask ourselves. And today, if you talk about, there's quite a lot of news about corruption and so on and so forth. And this is the one that I think that it should be first priority for us, maybe for a more productive and for a more social advance of the country. Kadang-kadang kita pun takut juga. Even orang mengelolakan agama pun juga tercebur dalam perkara ini. And this is very painful. Now, I think when you have a chance to read Anna's book, I think politicians, policymakers, civil servants, and the government who are in powers must read the book so that they can understand better how we're going to improve the situation. And there is also another policy, I think. It's the question of income distribution. I think one of the things you have to emphasize in your book about income distribution, disparity in income. Now this probably, don't worry about the businessman. The businessman, as long as he can make a profit, return on their investment, you don't expect them not to invest. If today you have your money, what would you do? 100 million. You can sit comfortably, put it in the bank, whether Islamic bank or non-Islamic banking, you get about 4% of return, not rate of interest. Rate of interest they get haram, but some people say the higher if the interest is very high, and that's no good anyway. So Malaysia is a success story 60 years after independence. We have produced many professional, and back in 70s, we are only paddy farmers, we are rubber tappers and clerks, all the lower group. But now, we have engineers. I think we just talked with one of the former VC. They're writing a book of the successful engineers. And what we need more would be entrepreneurs. And we need them to push the country forward. In the race to wealth and prosperity, we have to acknowledge pertinent problem on widening income inequality and disparity. And we must work together to ensure that the wealth is distributed fairly and a Malaysian citizen can taste the fruit of our country's success. So when a company makes a profit, we have to consider how you divide, whether it is the shareholders who take the risk, or the staff, or the government. The government will take today 26 or 27% of the income. The recommendation in his book certainly deserve the full attention of decision makers. The real challenge ultimately is to ensure their broad acceptance and judicious transformation into national policies that will positively contribute to creating a better Malaysia. Rich Malaysia, poor Malaysians is a critical insight of Malaysia's state of affairs while recognizing the richness of the natural resources and the unique multi-diversity of the nation. Very interesting with deep insight. They always say, take advantage of our multiracials. But we have problems, we have issues among races, but still we still prosper. I do not know what happened if everybody there is no problem in the country. I'm not sure of our prosperity. Maybe we do. Can we dream of a strong local workforce where both our skilled and professional workers are locals who earn high wages that are sufficient for them to live comfortably? And I think as far as the government today, when they talk about no more poverty line, they talk about more like satisfaction. You get a reasonable house, reasonable accommodation, and it's reasonable service like the hospitals, medical and health services, and good education. And today, of course, coming to education, I know a little bit more, is that we have 21 universities, and I think about 45 or 50 private universities as well. We have all sorts of schools in this country, even at kindergarten, yang ada sekolah Arab, kindergarten, sekolah Cina, sekolah India, Taska, all sorts of these. And if we talk about national unity of the future, I don't know whether that will come true or not. Because I think when you're very young, you are really have the opportunity to mix with other people. As you grow older, you develop certain bad habits, like me and many others. Or see a worsening of the current situation with many locals unable to find jobs and the majority of them earning low income. And that's what I said. How can we mechanize the estate? But if 6 million foreign workers leave Malaysia, what kind of state we will be, you think, in terms of economics? Maybe the rubber tree is not tapped, the palm fruits will not be harvested, and tall buildings may not be built. I think we are happier that way than too many tall buildings. Now these are the issues that face the government, I think. Much as we like to see the foreign workers to go, that is the balance of it. So, unless of course, our chap is prepared to work in the rubber estate, to work in the palm oil, to work in the construction industry, get rid of all those foreign workers, which we think is a problem, and maybe raise the higher pay. That could be done. But this is maybe to us is theoretical. It's not easy to do that. I was talking to a good friend of mine. I said, what happened if we stop foreign workers to work in the plantation industry? Oh, he said, you do that, not a single fruit bunch will be harvested. That's why I thought, as part of the problem, not necessarily solving it, why not our national service, about 6 months to 3 months, where our national service girls and boys will learn to work in the estate, or even if necessary, in the construction industry. We are also in dire need for more trained professionals and innovators, and we could have harvested them from talents that did not pursue tertiary education due to the lack of opportunities. As a developing nation, Malaysia is approaching the last but toughest hurdle in achieving wealth and prosperity, that is a knowledge-based society driven by intellectuals and thinkers who are present today. Trickle-down economy and an export-led based growth or development have been proven not to work. We need the right economic policy and approach to solve fundamental economic problems and issues. We also need to strictly reduce the number of foreign workers through industry limits and quota, we need to start now. I myself work in one of the listed company. You won't believe it, we have 7,000 foreign workers in the company. And it is one of the biggest manufacturer in Malaysia as far as the club is concerned. But in some other companies, the little one, maybe the local people will work. So this is the whole attitude we have to think about. And also don't forget the number of people who are in the Pusat Serenti. These issues are really very, I call it, very gigantic and a bit difficult to solve. We will have a very, very strict rule. Those who are found with drug by a certain number of weight, then you go hanging. But still people are repeating. In fact, there's a suggestion, maybe we shouldn't hang people who are supposed to be sentenced to death, Just keep them for 30 years in the jail. Then the social aspect of it, we have to pay for it. To keep these one people 30 years in jail. So these are the issues, I think, that not only our country, all other countries are facing. By the year 2030, Malaysia's population will be as old as aging Japan. Asia and Malaysia specifically have one of the fastest aging population in the world. And I am going to be 89 on the 15th of November. But thank God, rezeki saya ada. I don't have to depend on my children. No, I have to depend on the state, that's all. But maybe one of the many, I don't know, or one of the few. I see my friend around there. I think most of us who are here do not depend on the state, I hope, when we grow old. According to the Singapore-based Asia Pacific Risk Center, APRC, the swelling ranks of the elderly will cost the region 20 trillion in healthcare by 2030. So good opportunities for the doctors who are in the Faculty of Medicine or nurses to look after them, whether it's by the government or by the insurance company or by their children. So Malaysia will take only 23 years to double from 7% in 2020 to 14% in 2043. This aging process took Europe 100 years. I think we're going to take only 23 years. So these are the issues we have to look at it. Malaysia is fast becoming an aging society. We need to also ensure our health care is top-notch. Good doctors, making it affordable to the masses. Just now, Anas has painted not a very good picture of what's happening. But I think in spite of all this, in spite of the problem, issues, whatever you say, of the government, of the people, hitting each other and so on, swearing each other, but I think overall, Malaysia is still cannot be regarded as very much a poor nation. But this thing bothers me is this. The income tax that we are near to, this one, I think the private sector will get annoyed with me. I think 29% income tax is 27, 26 or 29, is it? Individual. Any idea? I think 27 is, I know company tax 27. But I think maybe we can afford again to have a higher taxation, maybe. Taxation rate. But everybody will be very annoyed. Yeah. There are two. Company tax and individual taxation can be separated. That's the way. Maybe less for individual tax, but higher company taxation. So this probably is some issues that you and I have got to consider, and I'm looking at the back, the younger generation. You have to live with it, but whatever you benefit today, you'll have to give it tomorrow when you go. Jadi inilah kalau saya kata pisang mas bawa belayar, masak sebiji di atas peti, hutang mas boleh dibayar, you berhutang budi itu tak tahulah. Sama dia nak balas, bawa mati, tak tahu. But I think this is what is happening today. You will inherit from us both the good and the bad. The rich and the poor, you will inherit. So with this, I have the pleasure of launching the book called Rich Malaysia and Poor Malaysians. Thank you.
Thank you very much.